Hi everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Handy Queen with yours truly, Jessika Addams. Thank you so much for your love and support and watching this episode. Today's episode, I'm going to go over basic plumbing and how it works, what type of plumbing materials there are out there, and how easy it is to replace something if it breaks in your home. For instance, in our home, the outside faucet broke over the winter after freezing. So I'm going to replace it and show you how easy it is to do plumbing in your own home, and you don't need to hire a plumber or wait for someone to come and help you. Let's get started. Okay, everybody. Number one thing you need to do before doing any plumbing is know where your shutoff valve is at. And I mean your main water shutoff valve. Every home has one that is connected from the water coming from the street to your house. There's a main water shutoff valve within your home. There's another one out on the street. I don't touch that. You don't touch that. That's the city's problem. So I know looking at all this is pretty intimidating, but it's very basic and I will be able to teach you. And also remember, not everybody's plumbing looks the same. My husband and I have worked on this and redone our plumbing and have tinkered it in a way that we liked. So let's go over the basics. So right here is your main water shutoff. You have another one right here. Typically in most homes, if you have a yard, it's going to split off like this. This split is to your sprinkler system. This one is to the main house. So we have shutoff valves for the sprinkler system and for the house. The next thing is so these are all just different shutoff valves. Don't worry about it. This is a water pressure regulator. You turn this knob and it will actually change the pressure of the water coming from your street. So if you're having too high of pressure coming from your sinks, your faucets, or anything, this turning it down will help with that. If you don't have enough, or you have a little drip going on that you just have no pressure, this is turned down too much. Then we also put one on for the sprinkler system. So as you can see, the plumbing will go up. Right here is where the busted faucet is. So we're going to be replacing all this. Okay, so just as we say in the medical field, teach one, show one, do one. So I spent the time teaching you different types of plumbing, different types of fittings, and different ways of connecting plumbing. Now it's time to show you what we're going to do. So, number one thing when you watch these videos, safety first. Always wear safety glasses and always make sure you are clear, your spaces are clear, because it can get messy. And I don't want anybody getting electrocuted or hurt. So we're going to get into our safety gear. So we're going to change. And put on our hard hats. And we are going to do some plumbing. First thing you always do before you do any plumbing work, like we discussed before, find your main water shutoff. You've got to turn it off, which will turn off the entire water of the house, and that's okay. You need to do this because if we touch any of this, you're going to have a flood going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off. That turned off the main water of our house. Some of the materials you're going to need. What you're going to do next is go up to wherever a nearest faucet, toilet, anything that uses water, turn it on. Because what is happening in these pipes, it has pressure in it. So if we cut any of this still right now, even with this turned off, it's going to spray at you. So let's go turn off some water, some faucets, and drain the system in the house. Let's go. Okay, now that we got the water off, I always do leave a faucet on while I'm doing any plumbing, just to keep the pressure down and let the rest of the system drain. We do have a little bit of a bigger home, so it does have a second story. So you gotta also consider that water will somehow drain down. So don't worry if you're gonna have water coming out. It's normal. If it's spraying out, you did not turn off your main water valve. But if it's dripping out, that's normal. So things you're gonna need to get started. For me, to get up there, gotta get your trusty step stool. Always, when you're dealing with plumbing, always bring a bucket and lots of towels, because you will have a mess. There ain't no way of getting around it. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna lay things down and I'm gonna get up there and we're gonna start cutting some plumbing. Tools together, and I got everything that I think we're gonna need for this. Again, I still don't even know exactly what I'm doing, but I wanna teach you not to be scared of it. Because even if you mess it up, the worst thing you can do, go get yourself a sharp bite cap, put the cap on where you cut off, turn your water back on, and reevaluate your situation. You can't really mess this up. I promise you, you can do this. Okay, so what I got over here is the pipe, the outside faucet that we need, my turn-off valve for inside, some extra copper, and some shark bites, some shark bite releasing tool, and your trusty pipe cutter. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna come up here. So how ours is set up is that it's coming out from right here, does this turn and come up. What I'm gonna do is what I'm thinking, because I don't have any 90-degree angles sharp bites, that I wanna save this whole entire piece and just extend the whole thing out. So what I'm gonna do first is that I'm gonna take this sharp bite off that we already have right here. And then I'm going to cut this pipe. There you go. We made a big mess. And guess what? Water everywhere. That's why I'm saying I laid a bunch of towels down. Your plumbing is still always going to be draining. That is normal, like I said, because there's so much water in these systems, but it's not spraying out or blowing everywhere. So that's how we know that our main water valve is shut off. And eventually you'll see it just start to really come to a trickle. But I did get the broken outside faucet off. Just like so. Okay, so then just start turning it like that. And every time you turn, put a little bit more pressure on it. Turn. And you'll feel it loosen up. Apply a little bit more pressure. And you just keep doing this. See, more water is going to come out. That's all normal. There you go. So now I have this piece that I'm going to reuse. It is soldered, so I know it is good and it doesn't have any leaks on it, and I don't want to break it. Okay, again, I know what I'm doing with this plumbing, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to reconnect everything, and that's why I'm saying think outside the box. Don't panic. It can be done. Just play with it like it's Legos. That's always going to be my analogy, Legos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop out the old Okay guys, so we're back inside. I got the new pipe in and we're ready to hook everything up. One thing to tell you that I forgot is that you do not need to put a shutoff valve inside the home. I am doing it because I know that that can bust again regardless what. So that's why I'm doing it. You don't have to do it. You could easily have just cut off right where that valve is at and brought in a new one and connected them together and called it a day. Easy. That's what I'm saying. You can think outside the box. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. There is no limits. With plumbing, Shark Bites, and PEX plumbing, you can play all you want. You can do the old little mousetrap thing and put plumbing everywhere you want. There is no limits to what you can do with plumbing. Think outside the box. This is an example of thinking outside the box and showing you how easy it is to replace the plumbing if anything was to happen in your house. This all can be added to, it's easy. It's so easy. I have moved washer and dryers in homes that are almost 100 years old, and I connected the old plumbing to the new plumbing and it works fine with no leaks or issues. Don't ever be scared to play with plumbing. You really can't mess it up unless you bust the main line coming into the home, then you're in trouble. But there should be no reason to ever touch the main line. Anything above the main line of your home, play with it all you want. I encourage you. So let's get going and reconnect everything. Okay, so if you remember this piece that I cut off, I still kept it. Remember, it's been soldered, it had no leaks, so it's still good to go. So what I'm going to do now is define the length. You don't need to do any special measurements or any calculus math or anything. All I'm going to do is connect it to the other end, and then we'll figure out our final length at the very end. Let me show. Okay guys, look at that. There is our final length. Our faucet is flush against the house, and I know that because that's how. I can't pull it out anymore. So now we just need to connect that end and we're ready to turn the plumbing back on. Okay, so let me give you an example of how I don't know what the math is or how long this pipe needs to be. I'm not even using a tape measure, but I can tell you, my first thought was, why don't I put two ends together and we connect to here to here? Well, doing that obviously is not going to work. I can't push this out anymore. So then I got thinking, why don't I just add the coupling into that? My faucet will stick out a little bit. That's okay. We can put a board around it outside and make it look cute later. So what I'm thinking to do is we're just going to go pop that on. Pop that on. And then knowing that this piece is connected to something solid, I'm going to push really hard on both of them. You can see it just locked. And there you go. And also with Shark Bites, do not fear that it does spin. This does spin around and around. It's okay, and it's completely normal to do so. But you guys, there we go. Vanna White. All done. I'm ready to turn the plumbing on. Also remember, when you're turning your water back on, if you turn on any of your other faucets in the house, you're going to have air and a lot of splashing come out of your plumbing. That's completely normal. Let the air work its way out. Don't worry about it. It happens all the time. Since the system has drained and you turn it back on and you have a faucet that's on, or I mean off, it will create an air pocket in there. So if you hear a loud whew, when you turn your faucet back on, completely normal. Don't worry about it. Look at that. No leaks. Faucet fixed. Everything's done. Time to just clean up. That's how easy it is. And remember, if a drag queen can do it, you can do it. Thank you for watching the first episode of Handy Queen with Jessika Addams.